single module called module 4 project network analysis. Okay. So network analysis is the graphical representation of all the activities. This is like a project management technique. Okay, so we represent if for example we come across in our daily life the networks are like the railway networks, then probably like the what do you call the transportation problem. It's also a net we can solve using network technique. So the linear programming we used for solving the transportation, that also can be part of a network techniques. The road network techniques, the maps. If you take the maps, you have got the different district roads, different national highways. So if you see it all interconnected, so all those things are networks, or it's a graphical form of representing the different events of a project. Then activity is a job that is to be performed. Supposing if you been to some construction site, then they might have pasted a long chart from the start of a project to end of a project. They'll track every day what's that's happening. It's not only for construction projects. Like if you could see the mechanical, the manufacturing job, then also they'll have the flow graph. Like they say, this is a line. If it is a line assembly manufacturing, then they'll have got different lines, something like that. Okay. So activity is basically a performance of a job, or and it consumes resources. There is an activity called dummy activity, which doesn't consume any resources or time, and that we will generally incorporate to make the network logic. So that I'll tell you a little later. But event is the start or completion of a job. So which means that every activity has got a start event and a end event, something like that. And duration is the total length of a job. Say for example, if particular work takes us 5 days, then the duration of that activity is five units or 5 days. Then a project is a combination of inter-related activities, and network analysis is used to analyze the particular project network. Okay. And there are two types of networks. One is called activity on node, abbreviated as AON. Then another one is called activity on arrow. So generally all our civil engineering and manufacturing engineering all comes under activity on arrow. Activity on node is for the computer processing and something like that. So activity on node is not for our parlance, but then like understand what activity on node is. Supposing you have this particular network where the start is an event or a node, then end is an event. Say for example, after start you can perform A, B and C, and once you perform A you can perform D, and once you perform D you can perform D, and G can be performed only after D and C. So if you see this network, this is all forward network. If you see the arrows are pointing outward from each activity. So which means that start is the initial activity. Without start, you cannot perform A, C or B. A, C, B can start simultaneously. So they don't have any constraints. Whereas activity D depends on A, and A depends on start. So it's as simple as that. Then activity G doesn't depends on D alone, but it also depends on C. Whereas activity E depends on B, it doesn't care about A or C or G or D, it just only waits for B. Then activity F starts only after E, and the end will be based on F and G. When F and G doesn't complete, we cannot reach the end. So this is the basically the tabular column. So which means that initial activity is a start activity. Since it is activity on node, this all the nodes. These are the nodes, or also called as events. We are representing those in the events. Okay. Then start has no predecessor. Predecessor means there is no activity that is before that. So it means that there is no constraint that if that activity is complete only, we can start this. So which means that A has no predecessors. Sorry, the start has no predecessors. And if you talk about ABC, ABC has got start as predecessor, which means that A has start as predecessor, which means without finishing the start, A cannot start. Then C also have got the predecessor as start. So without start gets over, B cannot start, and without starts gets over, C cannot start. And then D has A as predecessor. In fact, this is called immediate predecessor. The reason is that the whole predecessor, for example, D depends on start and A, but generally we will represent it by the immediate predecessor or the activity that is immediately before that. Say for example, if you travel from Vandalur to Kelambakam, if somebody asks you at Kelambakam, so where are you from? Probably you just say, for example, if you come from Mandalore and if you go to VIT, then if you go to Kelambakam, if somebody asks you where you're from, you'll generally say I'm from VIT. So you don't say I'm from Mandalore. Or if you from the other place like Tambaram, you don't say I'm from Tambaram, then I reached Mandalore, then I reached VIT, then I reached Kelambakam. It's not like that. So you'll generally say the immediate predecessor, what is immediately before that. Okay. Then G has C as immediate predecessor, whereas G has C and start as predecessors, something like that. So G has C and D as predecessors. C, D, A and start being the overall predecessors. Say for example, if you want to write predecessor for G, it is start A, C, D. But if it is immediate predecessor, it is generally C and D. So which is immediately before that. So that is basically a predecessor. Then at the end, it is F and G, as I told you, it is F and G. But end, if you talk about predecessor, it is the overall the events or the activities. Okay. So next is called activity on arrow. This is very important. And we have come across in the initial case, there's no numbers for the events because events represented by activity. So that is what we call activity on node. And this is generally an event. So for example, this is activity on arrow. This is similarly same to what you call activity on node. In the sense like we have represented the nodes, the activities in the nodes in the previous case. Then in this case, we have represented the activities above the arrow. So that is what it is called as activity on arrow. So once we represented the activities on the arrow, and the events are numbered. So there's a rule called Fulkerson's rule for numbering events, but I'll tell you what exactly that means. Initial activity will generally give us event number 1. And the final activity, final event will have the greatest event number. So that is the logic. So intermediate, you can have got the even number based on your construction. Say for example, I'm with the start event number 1. Then I just say 1 to 2 is A. So I'll just construct 1 to 2 is A arbitrarily. Then 1 to 3 is B. So 1 to 3 is B. Then 1 to 4 is C. So 1 to 4 is C. Then 2 to 4 is D. So 2 to 4 is D. Okay. Then 3 to 5. 3 to 5 is E. Then 5 to 6 is F. Then 4 to 6 is G. So this is how I've construct the same kind of thing in the activity on arrow. You can see the logic also. So A has no predecessor. So A, B, C has got no predecessor. So in the earlier case, we have got the start, but in this case, we don't have the start. So A, B, C starts at the same point, like 1. Then D has A as predecessor. So D has A as predecessor or immediate predecessor. Then E has B as predecessor. Then G has D and C as immediate predecessor. G has. Then F has E as predecessor. If you talk about G, the predecessors are A, C, D, but we talk only about the immediate predecessor. So which means it is D and C. So this is basically the activity on arrow. Okay. And the rules, as I told you, the Fulkerson's rules for numbering events. Say, for example, when we start 1 to 2, it's A. Then next one will be B. So it is not like 1 to C is 3 because we will be constructing B later. Then after that is C. So which means that we have to give even number in incremental position. The first one being the lowest of the even numbers and the last end event will be the highest of the even numbers. But intermediate, that will be based on the construction as we go on. Like there's a chronology like A, B, C, D. Since there's an activity, we have represented an A, B, C, D. But if you talk about the real construction or a real manufacturing process, everything has got the say for example line manufacturing. So unless they don't do fabrication, they cannot assemble. So unless they don't assemble, they cannot finish it. So that's a sequence. So we cannot break the sequence. Say that, say for example, I'll do first the finishing job without the manufacturing or without the assembly. How do we do a finishing job? So as simple as that. Okay. Then there are some errors that might probably occur. One is that called dangling error. So the network should be a closed loop. So it should not be one activity hanging, because every activity has got to start and from finish. So which means that there is an error called dangling error, which means that if there is a hanging, so some of the events or activities are hanging, then that is probably an dangling error. Then another error is called cyclic error. Cyclic error in the sense, for example, if this activity is gets cycled, say for example, 1 to 2 is A and 2 to 4 is D and 4 to 1 is C. Instead of 1 to 4 is C, if you have this closed cycle, then you don't be finishing that particular activity, because that activity is going to be looping. So in a real time, it is just like doing the same activity again and again. So we don't go to the finish of the project. So that is basically the two types of error. So which we will be avoiding in the construction stage itself. So when we do construction of the networks, we will just try to check whether if there is a looping or if it is having any dangling error. Then add dummy activities. Supposing there should be a logic like 4 to 5, because if the 6 depends on the completion of the 4 to 5, but we don't actually have that 4 to 5. For example, I'll tell you some construction example. When they do dig the earthwork, say for example, for constructing the foundation, when they create the initial schedule, they say dig the ground so that they can pour concrete and build the foundation. But unfortunately, during the monsoon time, if there were heavy rain and the what do you call, the trench get filled with water, then there is a process to remove the water called dewatering. That is may not be applicable in most of the circumstances unless it's a monsoon, or even during monsoon if it is raining. So that particular process are called the optional process. So give that in a schedule, or they apply for a contract. What happens when there is a real rain? Then the contractor will be a great loss. So in order to accommodate that, there's something called dummy activity, where they'll maintain the network logic. 4 to 5, they'll just try to give the dummy, so that once it is required, they will fill it with the duration. Otherwise, it will become a 0 duration, but the network logic remains the same. So that is, and we should not giving more dummies in the network diagram, then the realism of the network diagram will not be achieved perfectly. Okay. Then these are the different precedence relationship. We talked about the activities or the events, and that is something called a precedence relationship. So it's kind of a very important thing. So this is an event, this is an event, and this is an event, this is an event. There is a 4 types of relationship for a network diagram. So one is called FS, finish to start. So this type of relationship is that unless activity 1 or event 1 doesn't get over, the event 2 cannot start. So in our previous example, this is kind of a precedence relationship. Like this is the finish to start. Unless event 1 is not over, you cannot start 4 or 3. So this is kind of a finish to start. So only it is start when this previous event gets over. So this is a very common logic. The next activity is called start to start. So both activities or both events can start simultaneously, start to start. So let me check, is there any start to start event? Probably not there, because this is also finished to start logic. Both can start at same point. Probably 4 and 3 can have got start to start logic. Okay. Then next is called finish to finish. Both finishes at the same point. So one example I can give the start to start relationship is that in construction example, when they construct the wall, they can even construct what you call the okay, they can do a flooring of cement concrete flooring or something like that, or the marble tile. So that can start parallelly. That is start to start. Finish to start is unless they don't finish the column, they cannot do a column. The slab rests on the slab. So without columns, they're gonna do slab. Or for example, without doing the ground story, they cannot do the first. So that is basically the finish to start, and start to start is they can do parallelly. And finish to finishes both can finish at the same point. Say for example, wall of the one story, then the what do you call the plastering or the painting of the below story can be done both time together. So which means that one they can finish. This is kind of an uncommon relationship where one activity gets started, another activity is getting finished. So there is pretty much example like constructing a wall and the plastering of the another wall or something like that. So that is kind of a start to finish. And I'm just gonna go to the construction of project network diagram. Or we will construct a project network diagram using activity on arrow method or activity on arrow diagram. Okay. So first we will just take a look at the overall picture in that of the network diagram in a tabular form. So this is the overall picture of the network diagram that we are about to construct now. The first is 1 to 2. There is no predecessors or immediate predecessor, and the name of the activity is activity A. But successor is also the same because predecessor is the preceding activities, whereas successors are the activities that is following the activity A. A being the initial activity, so all the other activities that will be till the end of the project network diagram will be the successor for activity A. And immediate successor are activities that are immediately after that. Okay, so something like that. This activity A, activity B, activity C, activity D, activity E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. So there are 17 activities, and its predecessors and its immediate predecessors is successors and immediate successors and successors. If you happen to take the last activity, that doesn't have any successor because there is no activity that is preceding, then only we'll call that to be an last activity or the final activity. Then that particular last activity has got the all the activities from the start till that point to be predecessors. So in initial activity, we'll have got all the activities to be successors. In the last activity, we'll have got all the predecessors, all the activities that are before that will be predecessors. Okay. So what we do is we will break activities, then we'll start from the left to right, or this one first activity to the last activity. If you that is called forward pass and a backward pass. In a forward pass, we'll be constructing activity A to activity Q. For that, we will be looking only in terms of predecessors, the preceding activity. In a backward pass construction, we'll look into the activity, the last activity to the first activity. In that case, we'll be looking into the successors. So let me demonstrate what that means. So this we have seen Fulkerson's rule for naming events and forward pass construction. So let's break down into steps. Say the first thing I said told you, we are constructing from activity A to activity Q, and we'll look into only the predecessors and immediate predecessors. Okay. So the first step is forward pass construction. We'll look at the activity A. Activity A has no predecessors and immediate predecessors, and the node link is 1 to 2. So which means that we'll draw 1 to 2, and above the arrow we'll name it as activity A. So something like this. So all of you able to understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next is activity B. So activity B depends on activity A. So the node link is 2 to 3. So which means that after B only you can have this is something like that. So after A only you can start activity B. Okay. The next is activity C. Activity C also depends on activity A. So which means that this is probably like this. This is just a trial and error. You can change the orientation, or you can make the labels or the something like this based on the experience. Okay. The next is activity D. Activity D also depends on activity A. So which means that this will be something like this. Activity A, B, C, and B, C, D depends on activity A. Okay. The next is activity E. Activity E has a predecessor of activity B. I mean immediate predecessor, but it depends on A comma B. So it also B, because B depends, so B depends on A. So which means that that is kind of A comma B. Then immediate predecessor of activity E is B. So which means that we'll have something called E is will be something like this. So which means that E depends on B, and not only that, E depends on A and B. So something like this. The next is F. F depends on A and D. So which means that immediate predecessor, for example, this is the immediate predecessor for F. Then as I told you, predecessors of for F is A and D. So which means that F can have arrow like this, or it can have arrow like this also. So we'll generally see why we make that to be like this. Then that will be A and D. That will be F. So this will be F. Then next, the reason we made F to be 5 to 6. So F to be 5 to 4. 5 to 4, this particular event, so that we didn't have a separate event here, so which means we have culminated to this point. Then G depends on A and B. So G doesn't depends on E, because the E is the moving out arrow. So it means whatever the arrow that projecting this, like a network, like say for example a road. This is a two perpendicular road, and this is what you need to start from A to B, then only you can reach G. Say for example, this is kind of a road in a street network or something like that. Okay, so G, then I quickly run through H depends on A, B, G. H depends on A, B, and G. Okay, so active even number 6 to 4, and we can construct this network. It's a very big network, so font of time. I'm just scrolling, and finally we'll got the final activity Q. So Q depends on all these things. So this is basically the network diagram. Okay. So this is what we have constructed in a forward pass. Like we have taken from initial event to the final event. You can even do this type of construction in a backward pass, but in that case you will be needing the successor or activity that is succeeding that. So in a forward pass we will need the predecessors, and in a backward pass we can need successor. So construction of a network, you can choose either way, forward or a backward. So backward requires some complex thing, because it is not our norms, because people who practice Arabic, they write from right to left, but all our cases, like all our languages or English, we only write from left to right. So it'd be better if you do a forward pass construction for network diagram. Okay. So I'll illustrate what you mean by backward pass construction also. So in that case, what we do is we will take the final activity and we'll be looking into the successor. If you remember, the table got reversed in the predecessors. We'll be talking about the A to Q, and we'll talk about predecessor. In a successor or a backward pass computation, we will be taking the last activity, then its successor, and we'll start building out till the initial activity. Okay. So this is the final activity. It doesn't have any successor, and it is called 9 to 10. So I'm going to take 9 to 10. The successor is Q. And P, the next is called activity P, and it is 8 to 9, and it doesn't have, it has a immediate predecessor, and it has a predecessor, sorry, not predecessor, successor. It has immediate successor of Q, and successor of Q. So which means that we can even take the other way, like P is a predecessor of Q, so something like that, or you can have the successor of Q as P. So which means that we will be constructing the P towards the left, not towards the right. So if you consider towards the right, then Q is a predecessor, whereas in this case it's just a successor. So we'll be constructing the P to be left of Q. So it will be like this. So we have constructed constructed, then they say P has got a successor of Q, then we have constructed 8 to 9 as P. The next is O. O also have got the successor as Q. So which means that something like this. O, we moved P down. So and something like this. You remember in a forward pass we have got activity A, then B, C, D, kind of this fashion. Whereas in successor we have got Q, so NOP of this fashion, and you can still construct the network diagram in a backward pass. But remember that when you construct a backward pass, the arrow remains the same. So the arrow is based on the node direction. Say for example, 3 to 4 is activity I, sorry, activity E. Then the successor is I, so which means that it should of left of I should be E. Then the node will be 3 to 4. So for example, 3 to 4, 3 start event and 4 end event. So the arrow will be pointing towards the 4, and that activity will be activity E. So you can still do kind of a network logic, something like this, and redundancy in the network relationship will be the other case. Okay, so this is basically the construction of the network diagrams in a forward and a backward pass methodology. Okay, next is are we needing all these details, like all the successor details to construct a network diagram, or it will be probably, if you could see in this diagram, so it has got the predecessors and successors. Are we needing all the predecessors and all the successors? Say for example, immediate predecessors and immediate successors. Why we need immediate predecessor and immediate successors? That this only will be very useful for us to create the network diagram. Given a problem or given a statement to create a network diagram, only the immediate predecessor will help. Because for example, if activity Q has got all the predecessors, so which means that we may not know what which activity that Q follows immediately. Or in activity, say for example, initial activity is given with all the activity successor, we may not be knowing how to be, because what follows A we may not be knowing. For example, I or JK can also become a successor for A, but that is not immediate successor. So which means that that's no point in knowing the full successors and predecessor. But we can make use of these predecessors and successors, and you can remove the redundancy. Redundancy in the sense, as I told early, supposing you go to Chettinad Hospital, and if they ask you where you come from, you just say I'm from VIT. You don't say your hometown. So I'm from my hometown. I'm from this place. Then I've reached this place in Chennai. Then I reached VIT. Then I'm reaching your hospital. Nobody's gonna say, because that is already understood. So VIT is not your home because that's your college you're studying. But then that has got where is your home or something like that. Then you can specifically give your hometown name. Whereas the other point, like where you come from, they generally talk about the immediate thing. Or supposing if you go to internship to a company, they might ask you what did you study in the colleges, or what did you study in third semester or fourth semester. Then you might say that particular semester, rather than you don't say, well, I've studied this thing, I've taken a PCMB in my +2. You don't talk about that. So that is basically, but unless you don't do schooling, you cannot do college. So but that logic is there. So that are called redundancy, and that is what basically mean by immediate predecessor, immediate successor. That has got huge importance in terms of constructing network diagrams. Okay, let's remove the redundancy and start constructing the network diagram. So I'll just go through this slide. So for any doubts, do you have?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now what we do is we will try to create the same network diagram with the help of with removing the redundancy. Okay. So this is the overall picture. So this is what generally we will give an exam. And one more thing is we also don't give the node link. So node link is for the illustration purpose. We'll only give predecessors and activity and successors. Or when you have predecessors and activity, you can still create the network by forward pass. Or if you intend to create the network diagram using backward pass, then you can need the successors relationship. Okay, so what this is little confusing, so you can pay more attention to it. So what exactly is, there's an activity A to Q and its predecessors. Okay, then we'll create this particular table. So the left hand column, the first column, that will be of activities. Say for example, activity A, B, C, D till activity Q. And whatever I've given in the row or this particular columns, individual columns are predecessors. Say for example, A cannot have as A as predecessor, and B cannot have as B as predecessor, and C cannot have as C as predecessor. So this diagonal is blocked. So that activity cannot have that activities as a predecessor. So that is meaningless. So that we mark the diagonals. And remember this activity, this column, the entire column, the elements on the entire column is activity, whereas the individual columns preceding that will become a predecessor. Say for example, for what is a predecessor of activity A, when you go to this table, there is no predecessor, and A cannot have got A as predecessor. So that is understood. And Q also have got no successor. So we'll talk about successor a little later, but predecessor is what we are looking at. This is redundancy in precedence relationship, and we talk about predecessor. We can also make use of the successor relationship that I'll tell you in a couple of minutes later. Then predecessor, A has no predecessor, so there's no one. Then come to B. B has A as predecessor. So which means that B has A as predecessor. So in the B, you make a X. So you mark an X corresponding to B and corresponding to A. So which means that B activity has got what predecessor? A as predecessor. So which means that we'll mark at that point of time. Then what is the predecessor for activity C? So we'll look into it. Activity C also have got A as predecessor. So which means that we'll mark below that. And what is the predecessor of activity D? D also have got A as predecessor. So which means that we'll cross it. So let's take a look at the activities that has got number of predecessors. Say for example, E. E has A and B as predecessor, whereas I has A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H till H. A to H is for I, and E is A and B. Say E. Next activity be E. E has A and B as predecessor. So which means that we'll mark X here and X here. So which means that A and B as predecessor. And F has A and D as predecessor. It is not A and B, A and D. So which means that F has A and D as predecessor. We'll go to I. I has almost A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I think all are predecessors. So we mark all the predecessors, and this procedure is continued based on the tabular column, and we have come a final level. So we have only marked all the predecessors, but we have not found out the immediate predecessors. So immediate predecessors is what we generally require to construct a network diagram, but we have got all the predecessors. To eliminate that, so there is a technique. So all of you kindly pay attention. In this, the lower triangle, this is called lower triangle. Come to the last row, right hand corner of this particular row, lower triangle. So which means that this entire thing is considered to be a lower triangle. Come to the last row, which is a Q, and the extreme corner. Say for example, if there is if a Q doesn't depends on O, then this will become a N will become a lower right hand corner. So it doesn't mean that do not consider the empty cell. So only the filled cell with the X mark and come to the lower right hand corner. So in this case Q, and the activity is Q, and for that the predecessor is P. I guess it's P. Yeah. So which means that this particular cell will highlight it. Say for example, we'll highlight it. And what exactly we're gonna do in this is go to the corresponding. So which means that in this case it's P as predecessor. Then now go to that thing, then mark P, and now we'll treat this to be an activity. So now this case we'll look into that to be an activity. So we'll go to the table. What is P? P has got A D K as predecessor. So which means that P has got A D K as predecessor. The logic is that A D K is a predecessor of P. So which means that in terms of Q, you eliminate ADK by substituting P, because we know that P is a predecessor of Q, which already have got ADK as predecessor, which means that we can eliminate this ADK. Okay. So I'll just repeat. We have come across this point. Then we'll go to that corresponding thing and we'll treat that as an activity. And from the table, we'll see what is a predecessor of activity P, ADK. Then come back to this row and we'll circle that ADK, which means that we have eliminated from our predecessor relationship. So which means that we know that activity Q has got P as predecessor, which means that it is invariably understood that ADK is also predecessor. So which means that we don't need that, we only need the immediate predecessor. So once that is done, this iteration is over. Next, we'll jump back to the lower right hand corner, which is the activity O. So we'll come back to activity O. So we'll go back to the table. We'll go back to the table. We'll go back to that table, activity O. Activity O has got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. To A to M, it is there. We have already marked ADK, DK, but I recommend you to just mark once again also, because when you come back to O, ADK is already marked and A to M is circled. So A to M is circled. So which means that, and generally ADK is marked, so you can even make a above it or overwrite it. So sometimes people might leave out one activity, and that will create a problem when they do a network diagram. So which means that once you finish activity O, the entire network is gone. I mean, entire A to M is circled. The next is, what is the lower right hand corner? Activity N. This one. We'll go to activity N. Let's take a look at what is there in activity N. Activity N has A, B, and G. Activity N has predecessor of A, N, and G. So A is already marked. So you do a overwriting of that. N is also already marked. N A for not N. I think A. What is the predecessor? It is A, B, G. A and B and G are already marked. So which means that this is comes. So which means that no more iteration is possible, which means that we have come to a conclusion that for activity Q, the immediate predecessor are NOP. So if you take a look at this network diagram, that the immediate predecessor of activity Q is NOP. So which means that we have identified that the immediate predecessor for activity Q is NOP. Okay. So this is how you do this kind of a redundancy, removing the redundancy. Once you remove that, next go to the previous row. So this entire row is over. So go to the previous row. What is the lower right hand corner? It is this activity K. Activity K. Now what we do is we will find the predecessor of activity K. The predecessor of activity K is P, A, and D. So you circle A and D. And that is complete. Then we go to the previous row, right hand corner. Then we circled A, D, K, because that is a predecessor of activity M. Then we'll go to L. L has got the predecessor of something like this. And we'll repeat the process till we eliminate all the unnecessary or redundant predecessors. And we finally have got whichever that is not marked with the circle, that are our immediate predecessor. That is kind of a pretty important thing. Supposing you construct a backward pass construction, then in that case, we'll be looking into the, this is the immediate predecessor we got based on the previous redundancy. The next is called successor relationship. In that case, the activities are listed in the left hand. The this is actually successor. So kindly make a note of it. This is not a predecessor. This is a successor. And in the predecessor, we have got the lower bound triangle. in the successor, we have got the upper bound triangle. So which means that we'll be looking into the upper thing. And for eliminating in the predecessor relationship, we'll mark all the predecessors and we'll come back to the lower right hand corner. But in the successor relationship, we will be marking all the successors and we'll be starting in the top left hand corner. So that will be marked here, and that successor is removed so that you will get the immediate successor. So that is basically a successor relationship. So I'm going to mark for activity. Activity A has got almost all the activity till Q is the successor. For B, say for example, start. So Q cannot have a Q as successor, and P cannot have P as successor, or B cannot have B as successor. We'll be marking all the successor relationship. So it will be like this. Then this particular corner is taken. Say for example, activity B is chosen, and its successor is marked. So with a circle, then come back to activity C and its successor are marked until this procedure, and you'll get the procedure. I've not done successor relationship, and probably you can give a try. So if you don't get it, kindly let me know in the next class so that I can tell you how to do successor. But it's fairly the simple or the same procedure. Or this video you can watch again so that you can probably understand much better about the precedence relationship, or how to remove the redundancy in terms of predecessor or the successor. Okay.